so I graduated from high school, and after that I went to college, and in college I decided that I was going to be a nurse, but then I took some of the nursing classes and I didn't really like it that much, and so I decided I was going to be a cop. My dad's a cop too, so I thought I was going to do that what he does, and I was going to be a cop. And so I learned how to help people, so I never learned how to help people. I hadn't taken first aid, I hadn't done anything like that. So I came over here to this ambulance service, and I walked in and I said, "Hi, I'm going to be a cop, but I need to take a class." And they said, "Oh yeah, take the EMT class." And I said, "Okay." And I took that class and I fell in love with it. I found what I wanted to do. And so I've been working as a paramedic, which that means I work on the ambulance. I've been here for 13 years. And my dad said, "You know what? You really are doing what you wanted to do when you were little. You're not a doctor and you're not a race car driver, but you get to help people and you get to drive fast." So, you get paid extra to do it. Okay. So I'll do it for extra money. So then I started teaching extra to get the extra pay, and I actually found that I really, really liked it. So I've been teaching for a long time now. And so what I do that has to do with the public. So tourism talks, like I'm doing with you guys tonight, and I write our newsletter, and I put out press releases. Anytime that anything really big happens, I have to go there and I have to talk to the people on the news, or sometimes I try to find out to make sure everything around you is safe. Because if it's not safe, we're not going to go in there. We're not going to go into a dangerous situation, because that means that I could be a victim or you could be a victim. And that's what we do in the ambulance too. If something is not safe, that's not my job to go in. So I'll tell you a story. Once I was in an ambulance ride, and I was the first one. I beat the fire department. Take a big breath. And then think back to wherever you learned first aid. Think back to what you need to do. The more you know about the situation, the better you're going to do. So try to find clues that are going to match you when full babysitting to help us with this. Okay, so look at this picture. Is this a safe scene? If you're driving with your mom and dad and you drive and all of a sudden slow down and you see this, would you get out and run up there and help? What's not safe about it? Don't go in. When you call 911, they're going to ask lots and lots of questions. So they're going to ask, what's the emergency? And they need to figure out who to send, like the fire department or the police department or the cops, or the ambulance, sorry. They'll start telling you how to take care of that person if they're hurt. So they'll tell you how to do CPR or breathe for people. The other thing around and they're not breathing, what we have to do is sometimes we have to tilt their head back, because if they're laying there and they're not breathing and they're unconscious, your tongue is a big muscle. And your tongue is just going to relax, because that's what all your muscles do when you're unconscious. And when it relaxes, if you're laying down, it goes that way, it goes back, and might block your throat to where you breathe. So by tilting the head, that kind of takes the tongue off the back of the throat. And then you have to check, are they breathing, and do they need help breathing? Now, cut me off, I was bleeding, so I was putting pressure and I was pushing on it, and he said, "Oh, Mom!" And I said, "It's okay, I'm just we're stopping the bleeding." My husband once, this is a pretty crazy story, he was playing basketball, and there was a ball that went crazy, so two guys went after him. My husband was one of them, and they crashed, and my husband's forehead went into the other guy's teeth, and the other guy's teeth got chipped off in my husband's forehead. Yes! And so they said, Christy, run! And I was very pregnant with my husband, very, very pregnant. So I waddled in there and ran in there, and there was blood everywhere, and I said, "Somebody get me a towel." And so I grabbed a towel and I pushed down on his head as hard as I could. And he said, "Ow, you're hurting me." And I said, "I have to stop, because heads bleed a lot. If anybody's had a cut on their head, they bleed a lot." And so I had to push really hard to get it to stop bleeding. And so then we had to go to get stitches and stuff like that later on. So I also had my two boys, I had two little boys, and really bad. And so I told her, "Put it under the water." And she said, "Oh no, I have to finish making Thanksgiving dinner." And I said, "No, Mom, I can finish dinner." And so she had her hand under the water, and I made it stay there for 20 minutes before it got cooled down. And after it's cooled down, then you can bandage the area, make sure it's okay. Sometimes burns should be seen by a doctor if it's a big area, because they can be bad. My mom's wasn't very big, it was most of her one finger. But since it was a finger, it's important that your fingers work, right? So she actually had to go to Minneapolis to visit a burn doctor there to make sure, like, I want you to put your fist right above your belly button and the other hand over it, and you would go in and up, but it wouldn't be to yourself, it would be to somebody else. So you'd be standing in front of somebody else and go like this, in and up, and do that as many times as it makes the thing pop out. Okay, so we're going to talk about some other things straight out. And you have to make sure that all the body parts of the tick are out, because sometimes, this is really weird, but sometimes their head pops off and your head gets stuck in there. So you have to make sure that everything is out. I know, I don't like ticks either. Ooh. So I would say my mom or my husband might have to help on that one. That's the one thing I don't know if I do. And so I went and told my mom, I said, Mom, I got stung by a bee in my lip, and it's getting bigger. And she said, okay. And I said, I think so. And I was okay. It didn't get any bigger. It was just my lip that swelled up. But I put ice on it, and it hurt. It really did. It hurt. If the stinger is still in you, the best thing to do is not to take a tweezers and pull it out. Because if you use a tweezers, you could squeeze the rest of the venom that's in that stinger into your body. And so that's oh, sorry, I like snakes.
Could you talk more about snakes? Do you know anything about cottonmouths?
Really big ones. The
Anacondas.
around your arm.
Boas.
You guys want to know the good thing about snakes here?
Pythons.
The snakes in our area, in this part of North Dakota, most of them are not poisonous.
Yay. Most of them.
Most of them.
Well, poisoners don't get stuck there. There's snakes that, you might want to close your ears for this story. There's snakes that live down in Florida that they have teeth, and once they get biting, they keep chewing. They go.
Imagine that, Drea.
No, I didn't listen.
But the snakes here just have that long slippery tongue, and so they just go and bite really quick, and then they're done. And usually, you guys, snakes, if they bite you, there's probably something wrong with it, because snakes are scared of people. They don't want to be around people. So if there's a snake. And the last one, sunburn. Everybody's been sunburned, I'm guessing, unfortunately. Yeah. It happens. If you haven't, that's awesome. Then your parents are awesome at sunscreen. Don't use your injured limb. Ice means you can put ice on it if you ever sprain your ankle or something. I have had a lot of sprained ankles in my years. I played volleyball, so I have a lot of sprained ankles. You put ice on it and that helps with the swelling. And then compression means just like a bandage around it to help with the swelling. Then elevation, just sit with your leg up or sit with your arm up, and that helps with the swelling too. And then you can splint it if you need to. Let's say you guys are out camping or something and somebody trips and falls and they might have a broken arm or a vegetable in it, but he's okay. And so the poison control will tell you if you need to call 911, or if they're okay, or if you need to do anything, and they're awesome. So poison control is a good number to have on your fridge. I've got a magnet on my fridge that has poison control number on it. And I use to clean the windows. Okay, so let's talk about a heart attack. Everybody listening? Ready, guys? Okay, so a heart attack is when, if you guys think of your heart as a pump, and your heart, since it's a pump, it has lots of tubes going to it. If one of those tubes gets clogged, is your pump going to work very well? You can't be like, oh, ha, 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 we're joking around. They might be going into shock, and it's very, very serious. So what you can do is you can lay them down and keep them warm and get help there as soon as you can. That's really, really important to get help there as soon as you can. When we get there, we're going to take them to the hospital and we're going to get their fluids back up in their body. So build them back up so their body is functioning really well again. Another question? All right, are you guys ready? You have to listen very carefully here, so kind of loud and very slow. This is our garage, and we have 14 or 15 ambulances, and they're not all here right now because some of them are out and about. During the day, we have 7 ambulances that circle our area, and during the night, we have 3 to 4 ambulances that are in our area. So we have a lot of ambulances that are out and about, but now it's kind of shift change time. You can see there's a sign just coming through all the medicine that they need, and they have full gas. Gas and stuff like that, and then they get on the radio and they say, hey, we're ready for a post. And a post is different places around Fargo and Moorhead Hospital that we just sit and wait for something to happen. And so they sit there. Some nights and some days are really busy and they go on call after call after call and they don't even have time to stop and eat. They feel like it is that we have to watch TV a lot. Most of the days we're very, very busy, so most of the days they're going on call. The thing that I like best about working in an ambulance is always late. When I go to work, I don't have to help a really old person, but this night help is 107 years old. Or can I help a little young person? I do. Isn't that? Alright, let's go find an ambulance. here, so that's all the stuff. There's always at least 2 people in the ambulance, so there's one of us that's driving in the front and the other one that's helping back here. And then we switch jobs, so sometimes I drive and sometimes I help, ride in the back and help. It just depends on the day. We take turns back and forth. How do I know he doesn't watch TV? Because he has to learn, because he has a big test coming up, and if he doesn't pass that test at the end, then he wasted lots of money for this college that he's in. So he has to learn. Now the paramedics that are already done with their test, they might watch TV.
You're not 911, right?
Oh, okay.
And so they could get, I mean, they have at least 6 of them, so they can get wires everything. So I can't give her a hand over and say,
Cheryl, where is 321 Kirsten Lane? And Cheryl has to know where that's at. So she can use computers and stuff like that, but she has to be really good at math. She also has to answer all of the phone calls that come into the ambulance, so sometimes it's crazy, and Cheryl gets grabbed sometimes. And she says, get out! Cheryl,
and a radio in there. Wow.
no privacy.
No. Wow.